All right, well, welcome to Guerrilla Discipleship. My name's Kevin Baker. I've got a special guest today. It's going to be great for you to get to know her. As always, I'm glad that you're with us. We are trying to do everything we can to help people understand what it means to be an everyday disciple maker, just that God's called us to have a lifestyle like Jesus where we see people, care about people, and introduce them to the God who loves them. So this is Oakdale Church's newest staff member. She is the student ministries pastor here. Her name is LaTanya Barrett. I'm going to just ask you a couple of rapid fire questions.
Do it.
What would you say to parents? Maybe you don't have a particular, but what would you say in terms of dating? Like, hey, mom and dad, try to discourage your kids from dating before. You have an age?
Okay, I wish it was a rapid fire answer. I think it's kid by kid because of their maturity, because of their experience, because of their development.
Sure.
I think I don't do blanket statements. I kind of hate them.
Okay.
And I just think it's not helpful because everyone is different. And
Is there a too young?
I would say, in middle school, what are you doing? Like, especially because your hormones are probably at an all-time high. It's just not wise. I think it needs to be an open conversation. And I think with parenting and with teenagers, it's work. You have to be willing to do the work.
Yeah.
But really, you need to get to the heart of the matter as often as you can. Why do you want to date? Why do you want to do this? Why are you partying? Why are you drinking? Why are you smoking? Why? Like, let's talk about why. Because those desires that you're trying to meet, 99% of the time will not be fulfilled by the thing you're trying to pursue.
Yeah.
So I think with dating, it's that too. Like, if you have a kid that actually, they've got the spiritual maturity, they know who they are, it's not about like affirmation or whatever, and they just have a lot of love to give and they are interested in somebody.
Right.
Well, then teach your kids how to be in a relationship. Hopefully you can if you're in a healthy one. But you know what I mean? This is discipleship.
Yes.
So I'm like, if your kids are in a good place, walk with them through that. If they're not, then have that conversation. You know?
One of the things I want to just play up what you just said. One of the truths is discipling your kids is helping them to relate to people. Mm-hmm. Because God wants a relationship with us. If I don't know how to have a relationship with you, I probably don't know how to have a relationship with him. I don't know how to have a relationship at all. So how about social media? Do you have a comment or a stand on social media for kids?
I don't think they should be on it. I think until like high school age. And that's one that I will say because there's so much to filter through.
Yeah.
And like the way that algorithms are set up and the way that marketing is set up and all of those things, like they say the average, I don't even know, I might need to look it up. Previously, before social media really blew up, it was like the beginning, most people's introduction to pornography, I think was like 12 years old, between 7 and 12 years old.
Yeah.
That's pre-social media.
Really?
Yeah. So think about now. I have no idea. Like I said, I should probably look it up. But just think about what's on. And I'm not even saying your kids are looking for it, but it's everywhere.
Oh, it's there.
So between those kinds of things, and then again, just the way that like social media affects the psyche and identity. I had self-hatred issues without Instagram, without TikTok.
Wow.
So imagine me on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Like that would be, so I just don't think, what do they need it for?
Right.
What do they need it for? If they want to
feel
talk to
like
their friends.
they're cool.
Right.
To feel like they're not you're a baby because you can't look at, right? That would be the thing that I would think people would press on.
But you know what? Everybody wants to be different. So not being on it makes you even more different.
There
You're
you
cooler
go.
for not having it.
I was 12 years old when I was exposed, and I was before the internet. I was before any of that.
Yeah.
And I was 12 years old. That's what it's funny, I don't know the current statistic, but it was probably 11 to 12 for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt it's younger because it's so easy to stumble across something you're not looking for.
Well, I know one of my kids, one of the younger kids, I want to say he was like in second or third grade, and I think somebody brought one of those portable games. They started making the portable games that you could it would connect Wi-Fi, and they had downloaded a picture on it. So it probably is a lot younger with the internet. And
it's just messy. They don't need it. I mean, we see the effect that social media has on us as grown adults.
Right,
Why would you want your 11-year-old to have that?
And I know, and I don't know if this is possible because everything's changed so much. But when my kids were small, the computer, we just had sort of one house computer, and that was always out in the living room. So, but today probably everybody's got iPad
We
or a
all
laptop.
have computers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so that in their room by themselves, I mean, I almost think you ought to say, hey, charge your phone out in the living room.
Yeah.
Don't charge it in your bedroom. Because,
And then also you just think about the screen time. It's not good for your brain. Like they need hobbies.
Yeah.
And our attention spans are getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a friend who was talking about, I think it was like the cognitive development up until like now has been on the incline, but for the first time in history, it's on the decline.
Yeah.
Because of technology. So
Right.
like even more than like, porn and all the sexual stuff, it's just like developmentally, it's not great.
No. I know that we have a teacher here in the church that when he's told me before, when kids come to him and say, I need help in the class, the first thing he asks them to do is take their phone out.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to see their screen time over the past couple of weeks. And he says it's not uncommon to see 10 hours a day screen time.
Which is crazy because they're in school for like 7.
Right. And so, but that's right. So you know, if you have 10 hours a day screen time, man, that's a lot of screen time, a lot of influence. And you said earlier that, it used to be that parents were the primary influencers, but if you got that much screen time going on, it's hard. We know that it's not possible for that not to have an influence on us. We're being influenced.
Yeah.
Would you say something about friends? What do you have any thoughts on how to help your kids choose friends, how to know how to be a friend?
Yeah. Friendship is such a painful area for young people.
Yeah.
It's hard because you can't force it. And I've seen parents do what they can to help their kids, but it's not something you can force. It was told to me all the time, and I thought it was so corny and so dumb. Like, if you want to make a friend, be a friend.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
be the friend that you want. But it's true. And friendship with Jesus has changed my life.
Wow.
And again, that's one of those corny things as a kid that you're like, friendship with Jesus. But genuinely, he is the friend that sticks closer than a brother. I would say for parents, number one, encourage your kids to have hobbies. Encourage them to make friends with because that's like the thing is when you're young, I mean in life, but when you're young, you're really trying to connect with people that have shared interests.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have hobbies, that's really hard. And I mean, again, if you don't have constructive hobbies, then you might not want to be around those people anyway.
Yeah.
But I would say get your kids in different interests, celebrate, support their hobbies as long as they're constructive. And then I would just say create space for them in their process because like I said, you can't force it. And the one of the most like embarrassing things is when your parents are trying to force somebody to be your friend.
Yeah.
And so I would say you've got to navigate it with so much grace. You have to trust God with their process because it hurts to watch your kids hurt.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that they have to walk through. And so I would just say put them in positions and give them opportunities to meet people.
Right.
And then just affirm their identity and make your family a community for them. If their family is community, then they'll feel a lot less alone.
Yeah, that's good.
So
that's really good.
Those are my suggestions. It's hard. It's something you really can't force. You can
It is hard.
help coach and guide as much as you can.
And maybe model in your own friendships the way
For
you
sure.
deal with friends.
For sure.
All right, we'll end with this. There may be one parent listening who is panicked right now about their kid. They know they're using some substances. They're pretty much sure that they're sexually involved. They're doing poorly in school, maybe. I don't know, but there's something going on. They feel like their kid, they're panicking about their kid in terms of they feel like there's a spiral or there's a crisis coming or that they can just see my kid is not thriving. Whatever the picture it is, because they're all unique pictures.
Yeah.
But I think you're getting my idea here
For
is
sure.
that what would you say to that parent whose kid is just miserable, anxious, angry, depressed, acting out? What would you say?
I'm looking in the camera for this.
All right.
You need to pray. I know it's probably like duh, but you need to pray.
Amen.
You need to bring your child before the Lord every day, every single day. And one thing I will say is I know I'm not a parent, but I do have some. And I know a lot of them. And I know that parents have hopes and dreams and desires for their kids, as you should. You should want great things for your kids. And one of the hardest things is when you're not seeing those things come to pass.
Right.
When they're not walking in the way you want them to, or when they haven't become who you want them to be or whatever. So when I say pray for them, probably first thing on your agenda is laying all those things before God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to, because if you have an expectation of your kid that did not come from the Lord, it'll crush them and it'll crush you as you crush them with it.
Yeah.
And so I would say, like, you need to bring that to God, because the reality is your kids don't belong to you. They belong to Him.
Amen.
And God has entrusted them to you to disciple. Right? And so you have to go to God. You need to get your discipleship plan from God. You need to get vision from God. What do your kids need? Who is God shaping them to be? Like, what is God's original design for your child? Get that, pray that over them, and then treat them as such.
Wow.
The Bible says, I think it's in 2 Corinthians 5, that we don't regard one another as according to the flesh. That's the same with your knucklehead teenager.
Amen.
You got to regard them according to who God has created them to be. And then the task is to walk with them to take steps closer towards that. And so genuinely, I'm saying the place of prayer because I think if parents get a revelation of their spiritual authority, they'll see things shift more than trying to grab a hold of control. Because the reality is you have less control over your kids than you want. That's part of the problem.
Right.
That's the frustration tension point. So I'm like, genuinely, first things first, you need to pray. You need to pray regularly for God's heart for your kid. Like, get God's heart for your kid, because sometimes it can be hard because we're human. Get God's heart for your kid. Get His vision for their life. Pray that over them. Ask God for strategy. And then I would say you got to go after their hearts, because it's so easy to be frustrated by the fruit of their lives. But like I said, right, it's coming from somewhere. There's something that's going on, whether it's a deficit of love or a deficit of truth, or there's injustice, or there's pain, or there's some outside influence that you don't even know about. There's three voices that they're hearing, right? It's God's voice, the enemy's voice, and their own. So the more that and it's hard, once you're in a place of crisis, it's hard to build trust. It's kind of too late.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you can. Like, you want to be able to get to their heart and speak to their heart, not just get off your phone and stop doing this and stop doing that. It's coming from somewhere. And so the more that you can get, which that's why the place of prayer is so powerful, because God will give you a download. He wants you to be a successful parent. Like, He doesn't want you in the dark.
That's so good.
So the more time you spend with Him, the more He will reveal to you what's going on and how you can help. But then also, like, talk to them. Don't assume that you know just because you've been a teenager yourself, because times are different now.
Yes, they are.
And everyone is unique. So I'm saying a lot, but that's because there's a lot that you can do. I know it can feel like you're disempowered, but you actually are so empowered as a parent.
Right.
So, like, literally pray. That's 99% of my advice. And then the other one is, like, love your kids and go after their heart. If there's anything you can do, it's make them feel safe with you. Because if they feel safe, they will bring their stuff. It may take time, but they'll let you in. Just like with their friends, there are those windows. Like, you can see the way that they respond to the things that they do, the things they say. You're like, hold on. So, and I say that to my youth leaders too, but the more time you spend with them, the more trust you build, the more you can look into their soul and you can care for them from that place.
Yeah.
And it takes supernatural grace. It's a calling from God to be a parent. So you need grace from God to do it. And that starts with your relationship with Him. So if you don't have a good one, you got to lock in with God and go from there, because He's the only one that can help you.
Let me just tell you what. That's $1 million advice right there. LaTanya, thank you.
God.
Thank you for joining me.
This is so fun. I
good.
love to talk, so I'll come back anytime.
Well, we're going to do this again, but right now I want to thank LaTanya, but I also want to thank you guys. And hey, if you're here and there was one thing, if you're a parent and there was one thing that God spoke to you about, there's probably another parent. Would you just pass this on to them? Just say, man, you've got to listen to this. It was really helpful. Because we are, as LaTanya said, we're in this together. We need to be encouraging to one another.
Yes.
So thanks so much for being a part of Guerrilla Discipleship, and I will see you next week.
All righty.
All right, bye.